So SSRS provides charting capabilities where you can create visualizations similar to Power BI and all. So we'll try to create one report, sample report, and see how we can use charting capabilities. So I will just create one sample report with the same data set we have already created. I will name this one as sales by, or I will say sales details underscore charts. Now I want to create a blank report. Add new item, report, sales details underscore chart. So this is my empty report. So for my exercise for this report, what I want to do is I want to create a table where I can show the data, and also I want to create some charts to show the same data in a graphical or graphical presentation model. Okay. So first step, as we discussed, we need to have a data source for this report. So I will say right click, add data source, and I will pick the shared data source. My shared data source is whatever the data source. Click OK. Now the next step is to create the data set. My data set is the data set that gives the values to that feeds the values to the reports. So for that I will pick already existing stored procedures. So right click, add new data set, and I will say sales by product. That is my data set name, and I will use data set embedded in my report, and my data source is this one, and I will pick a stored procedure for this report. My stored procedure is let's see the syntax first. Adventure works. So sales order details, get order details. This is my stored procedure which expects a parameter for calendar year and returns bunch of columns. So I will use get order details as my data set procedure. Refresh fields to refresh the fields of the data set, and parameters is calendar year. Click OK. So this is my data set. Now I will create a table here. Insert table, where I will select product category name, and my data is another column I want, or another group I want to insert is group below. So I am creating two groups, and here I will show subcategory and internet, okay, reseller orders, and another column to the right which will show internet orders. Okay, so I created two row groups. One row group is for product subcategory. So I want to product category. The outer row group is to group by product category. The inner row group is to group and insert product category insert group below, product subcategory name, okay, reseller order quantity, internet order quantity. And I want to aggregate these values, so I got some already. So preview, which should take a parameter for year 2012 view report, and that shows data for whatever that year. Okay, this is my simple report where I just have a table structure. Now what I want to do is I want to introduce charting. So not only the report, I want to include a charting capability, or I want to just add a chart. So if you click on right click on this report body and insert, you will see chart. There is chart map on data bar, spark line, indicators and all this. So we will see how the chart works. So map is basically a geography map where you need to feed the geography information into the map. So once you feed the geography information, you can see the real time map with the values. But for this example, we see the chart. So if I click on chart, we see bunch of charting options. So bar charts, line charts, and this is shapes, all different charting options or visualizations we can call. For my exercise, I want to pick a 3D pie chart. Click OK. So now it inserted the 3D chart here, and once the chart is inserted, I can set the properties. So what I want to do for this exercise is, I have this table, and when user clicks on a subcategory, I want to show the corresponding product related information here. Okay, I want to show for a subcategory, when user clicks a subcategory, and we already have calendar year as a filter or the search option. So user enters a year and then clicks on subcategory. When user enters a year and clicks on subcategory, I want to show the data related to that particular subcategory. Okay, something like this. So I have the filter, I enter the year value. So as soon as I enter the year value, I get this tabular report. So in the tabular report, I want to click on bike racks or any of this subcategory, and then based on this subcategory, I want to load a different chart here. So basically, I am taking the calendar year and the subcategory as input to the chart. Okay. So to do that, I need another data set, because this data set gives me the information per subcategory and per product category and subcategory. But for my chart, I need product level information. So I want to have another data set. So for the other data set, I already created one query that I want to just use it. So my query I copied from other report. This one is, I am calling it as reseller sales by product. So data source, and this is the query. So what this query is doing, This query is joining to the fact, reseller, sales and other supporting dimension tables and getting the data where by filtering by calendar year. Okay, let me copy it to Management Studio. So, this query is joining to the fact and then dim product, product subcategory and all supporting dimension tables and querying the data by filtering them or filtering the fact with calendar year and English product subcategory, and I am taking these two variables. These variables would be my parameter. Okay. For now, let's just leave it as just a data variable. So, all it is doing is querying the fact reseller sales by filtering or for each for a given calendar year and subcategory. So, copy this guy, paste it here. Now, refresh fields, which will refresh my fields, product name and reseller order quantity, and parameters are calendar year and product subcategory. These are the two parameters expected in this particular data set. The values I haven't provided yet. Okay, click OK. Now, I have a report, a chart and a table in my report. Now, I want to link these two together. That means, I want to link the chart with the selection I make in the table. So, how do I do that? I can use the jump to report option. I can go to text box properties, action, go to report. So, which report I want to load? I want to go to the same report because I am not jumping to any other report. In this case, my jump to report is a self container or self report. I can say I can pick the same report here, sales details chart. That means, it is the same report that we are working on, and then pass the parameters. What are the parameters? Calendar year, calendar year and calendar year. There are two parameters, right? One calendar year is for the report, the other calendar year is for this data set which goes to the chart. So, I will pass for calendar year, the value I get is the calendar year. Okay. And then click another parameter, add another parameter. This time I need to feed the parameters for the chart, the calendar year, and my value is again calendar year. Another parameter. Now, this time I want to feed subcategory. Again, this one is the parameter for chart. So, for this the value is my subcategory name. So, what is happening here? The calendar year first parameter that I added is for the report filter or the search. The second parameter I added was for the chart, second calendar year, and the subcategory is also for the chart. So, since we are jumping to the same report, I need to provide a parameter value for the calendar year, so that the report can render the data for that year. That means, initially if you visualize this report, initially there will be just one parameter, calendar year, and I enter the year number 2012, and when I say view report, what happens? Report this data loads for calendar year 2012 by executing the stored procedure. And next I am creating a jump to action on the subcategory. When user clicks on the subcategory, what needs to happen? I want to load this report again because I have this chart here. So, I want to load the report again. Okay. So, when I am loading the report again I have this calendar year parameter that I need to pass for the report. So, that is why I am entering a new parameter and passing the value from the data set, because the data set by itself is for 2000 whatever the year 2012, right, because we already filtered the data for 2012. So, the data I get here is 2012. So, I am passing the data sets value as a parameter value, and again the data set value calendar year is the parameter for the chart, and then the product subcategory that came from the data set, that means the values listed in the table are the values coming from the data set, right. So, that value I am passing as another parameter to the chart. Okay. So, that is why there are 3 parameters. Now, click OK. Now, preview it. Okay. So, I have not set the properties for the chart yet. Right click, so when you right click, it shows the properties here. Even before that, I need to set the data set for the chart, because if let us say I am loading this chart and this table both from the same data set, then I do not need to set it. By default, it will pick up the data set of the table, but I am using a different data set in this case. So, I want to set the data set properties. So, here you have the option for data set name. This data set is used just for the chart. So, I will say reseller sales by product, and remaining visibility is show. I do not want to hide it. Filters, I do not want to do anything. Solid borders, these properties if you want to change, we can change, but I will leave them as is. Click OK, and once we have set the data set, saying that use this data set for the chart. Okay. Once we set the data set, we have the option to pick what are the values that needs to be used to build this chart or visualization. So, in this case, for values I want reseller order quantity. Okay. And for category, maybe I will go with product name. So, those are the 2 values I have from the data set. If I have series groups, I could provide that value, but my query just gives me product name and reseller order quantity. And for the title, I will say reseller orders by product, that is my chart title, okay, which I have set here. So, once that is done, I will go to preview. When I go to preview, what happens here? It will ask for 2 parameters, right. One is for calendar year, calendar year and product subcategory. Basically, three parameters. Okay. Now, it shows the calendar year and subcategory. If I in 2012, the report shows the table for now. It is not showing the chart here, because it is not getting any value at this moment. The values are passed to the chart only when I click on this link. Okay. For example, if I say helmets. So, what is happening? It is loading the report again, but this time the subcategory name is passed as helmets, and that particular value is passed as a parameter to this report. And there are 3 different products under the subcategory helmets. Those are the 3 that is showing here. Okay. And let us say if I say some other subcategory, it shows the data for that particular subcategory and the year 2012. Let us say I just says 2013 here, view report, and it shows a different 2013, it shows a different value for that particular report. So, I need to go back here. Okay. So, here I do not need to display this product subcategory parameter in the report, because this should be internally passed from the table to this chart, right. I do not want to show this one. So, all I can do is hide this parameter, because I do not want user to enter this particular parameter value. So, I will say hidden, click OK. Now, since I have set allow nulls here, I am setting allow nulls, because I am hiding this parameter. Initially, when we load the report, there is no value passed to the subcategory name. The value for the subcategory name parameter comes only when I click on the table content. So, that is why I want to allow nulls, otherwise it will throw an error saying that no value is passed to this parameter. So, that is why I am setting up to allow nulls, so that it does not fail. So, if you look at this one, the final report, I see just the year, calendar year, view report, which will load this table, and maybe then I will say breaks or whatever, it will show the data. Okay. So, this is how we can build charting capabilities within the reports. So, title properties, I just want to play with the title property, visibility, show or hide based on expression. If is not equals to so now we could actually hide the chart when we are loading the report first time. So, for example, when we load this report for the first time, I will have the option to enter calendar year, view report, and here I do not see any chart for the first time initially. Earlier we used to show the data unavailable and all those chart title and all. Using the chart expression, I could hide this particular chart for the first time. So, when we load this report initially, we do not see the chart, but when we click on any of the subcategory, we reload the report, and that time we show the chart value. Okay. Like this, we can use the expressions to hide or show the charts as well. So, what I did was, under visibility, I selected show or hide based on an expression, and in the expression what did I say? I said if the subcategory name has something, then show it, otherwise do not show it. Okay. So, that is what I selected. So, if subcategory value If there is a value for subcategory, then hide property is false. So it is the other way, hide property is false, otherwise hide property is true. That means when there is no value for this parameter, the chart will be hidden. When there is a value for this parameter, the chart will be visible. Okay. So that is what this expression is doing. Like this, we can use multiple charting options. You can use n number of charts and pass values to the chart from the report. Okay. Or you can just build a report which loads charts and tables with the same data set initially without this hyperlinks and all. That is a simpler way of creating reports. You will just create a report with bunch of charts and then the table, and use the same data set to load the table as well as charts. So that way you are showing both graphical and numerical tabular format for the same data set. In the example what I am showing here, I am showing the capability where you can pass the values from table into the chart. So the charts also can take the parameters. That is the thing I wanted to show. And also I showed the expression using which we can hide or show the charts. Okay. So these are the charting capabilities. And one more thing I wanted to show just real quick is the maps. Okay. Maps is like a Bing map. When you go to Bing Maps, you see this real time maps, right? Bing Maps. Let's take some time, but you know how the maps looks like, USA by state. So when you select this map, it will ask for different parameters. Click next, basic map or whatever, bubble map, analytical maps and all. So based on the fields you choose, it shows the maps here. So to work with the maps basically you need geography information. You need to have country or some kind of information where you can load the data. Let us say orders quantity by country, right. If the orders quantity by country is my data set, I can use the country to map to no, I need to have state. Okay. If I have the state, I can map the state to this maps item, and then the value I can show the quantity, whatever quantity it is. Like that we can use maps as well. So the charts, maps, these are the most frequently used visualizations within SSRS. And as we saw, even for the maps we can pass the parameters. Let us say different countries, right. Right now we are showing only US, but if you want to show a global map or the world map, and depending on the user click, let us say we are showing a tabular format similar to that, this one where we are showing the country names, and when user clicks on the country, you can highlight that particular country in the map and show the numbers. Those are the things you can do using expressions, same as what I do to hide and show this report. So the way I did was just go to the visibility and set this expression. Similarly, you will set the highlight property or color property expression using these values. That way you can change the colors, or you can highlight the colors, you can do all sort of things using the maps. Okay. So that is about charting capability within SSRS. This is also useful, but most of the times when we have visualizations, we go with Power BI route, because Power BI gives more charting capabilities.